audio may not be the best, but please bear with us. Maybe I should launch this again. File, new, good. It opens in this format, blank database. The first thing Access wants you to do is save your DB, your database. For now, I'll be walking you through a training DB. The actual aim is that we want to gather records or information for students going through a training in a computer lesson, computer class, generally. The first thing Access wants you to do is save your DB. I give it a name. For now, I'll say training. Training, that's a spelling, I guess. And I could save it. The default location for Microsoft Access is my document, as we could see. But I could choose other locations by clicking on this folder icon here and wherever you wish to. For now, that I'm sticking to the default. I click create. Microsoft Access opens up with it. I think I should generally show you the double views we have for tables, or before that discuss access objects. If I click create, we have various database objects we can see here. The first thing is the table, everything within this bracket, table design, SharePoint list, and the likes, all about Microsoft Access tables. And that's actually your database, your tables. And the next thing is query. We'll talk about query much later in this tutorial. We have the forms or all forms of it. We'll talk about them as we continue. Reports as well as the macros. Now we want to start with the table design. I'll go back to home. For our view, we have the datasheet view and the design view. By default now we're seeing our datasheet view. By that I mean the view in which you can input data directly if you're working directly at the back end, which is your table. Thank you. I'll switch my view right now to design view. I'm mandated to name my table. I call it, let's say students. And okay, here's my design view. Automatically Access creates or initiates an ID field, which ought to be more like your, sometimes I use this for my serial number field, and it's actually a unique identifier since it's auto number. We'll get to know more as we continue what we mean by these data types. But here we get to define our field. Now we're talking about a student database. I want to believe the first thing I want to do is get the student unique identifier, which could be our serial number. If it's a database that already exists where they already have the serial number, sorry, I beg your pardon, I simply could just replicate that by calling probably like a file number or a reg number that is already in existence. Call it reg number and then make it not auto number because it's already existing, but if it's depending on the data type, if it's just number, I use number. It's a combination of numbers and text. By that I mean the characters of the alphabet. I use short text. If it's just number, I'll stick to number. Otherwise, maybe not needed, I'll leave our ID field. So for now we have our ID, and every other data we could want is first name, short text is fine. We have last name, short text is fine too. We have other names, thank you. Short text is fine. Something like date of birth if need be. And for this I'll choose my data type to be datetime, since I'm talking about the datetime. We'll see what datetime gives us. We also have something like the gender. Okay, short text is fine too. Now for gender, quickly I'll do something. Okay, I'll come back to it so I don't get so much things into your head at once. Let's stick to these few fields for now. I'll save that and switch my view back to datasheet view. Thank you. I could expand these to get more. Okay. Now quickly, that's how simple it is. This is an auto number field as we saw. There's something I didn't tell us. I'll go back, please. If we look closely here on this field, we'll see a key icon. That's a primary key. Key icon, that's a primary key. A primary key field is actually a unique identifier. By that I mean a field that is unique to a record. For example, in a school, one of the unique things that no two students have is your registration number, which is your matriculation number. Of course, no two students have same matric number. So you could use that as a primary key, using to identify each record in your table. For now, this is a serial auto number field. I think I prefer to use that because no one has a monopoly of first name or other names or last name. So I can use any of these for my primary key. Similarly, date of birth could be dual owned. You and I could be born on the same day. Thank you. So I switch my view back to datasheet view and populate this. Because this is an auto number field, I need not put anything. The access does that for me. First name, could say Edwin. Sorry, my first name is Chooks, not Edwin. Chooks. Other name, Edwin. Other names, Chris. Sorry. DOB. Here's why I use the daytime. Access permits me to use the calendar feed. Okay, but I could still impute what I want straight up this way. Gender and male. The next one, as I populate, observe the ID field. When you type something here, it auto populates others, like say Danlami Chibri. Now observe that I think it could be easier if since I always have the options for gender to either be male or female, what if we decide to give the user the options to select from a drop down, male or female? I think that'll be fine. Let's see how we get to that. First, I'll save this record, switch back to my design view, and then under our gender field, drop this down. There's an option called lookup wizard. I click good, it pops up. Now the wizard said this wizard creates a lookup field which displays a list of values you could choose from. How do you want your lookup field to get values? I want the lookup field to get values from another table or query. That's not what I want now. I'll type it in. You get to understand the difference between these two as time goes on. I'll type this in. I need a male and I need female. Okay, next. Gender field, limit to list. By this, I don't want the user to enter something additional. So I'm limiting this to this list. As well as allow multiple values, no. If you check this, you mean the user can select male and female at the same time, and that's not possible. Finish. Okay, I switch back my view. See what I mean. If we add a new record, say, okay, Ibok 80 Maido, let's say 0305, stroke 05 1992. Now on the gender field, observe the combo box, the drop down option for me, and I could select either male or female. For now, female. I think that's fine. I save that. Thank you. In our next video, we'll be looking at how we get to populate this table using a form. It's not expected that your users have access to this record, but for now, if there are options